Ini di dunia. Saat ini sudah hadir di CNBC Indonesia Direktur Utama Karya, Putra Borneo, Bharat Kumar Jain. How are you, Bharat?
I'm fine. Good afternoon. And assalamualaikum to your audience.
Waalaikumsalam. A pleasure, sir, to have you in my name on CNBC Indonesia. And we also have our friend, equity researcher from CNBC Indonesia, Reza. How are you, Reza?
Good afternoon, Reza.
Thank you so much for coming to this very studio in CNBC Indonesia. So, first question would be go to Bharat. So, just a very general questions as an introduction. How do you see the future of coal, sir?
Well, I still see a long way for coal because transition from fossil fuel to clean energy is going to take very long time, especially for the developing countries with limited financial resources. We still have to live with coal.
But you must have realized after the commodity boom at 2022, we've seen that there's a significant decline of coal prices around the world. And now, after the first 5 or 6 months of 2024, there's a quite volatility in coal prices with a downside trend compared to what we have in 2022. How do you generally see it as a business, as a businessman?
There are several factors which are responsible. The global slowdown in economic, especially when there is a slowdown in US, it will impact the global demand, and then it impacts, it's a domino effect basically. So probably that's, besides that, there are geopolitical problems all over the world. So there are several factors, but last few months it has been, I can say, comparatively more steady if you compare to last year's.
In the last few months?
Yeah.
Any factors of those, what are the main factors supporting the coal price stability?
Look, we are going through severe heat wave in the entire Asian region. And especially for the cooling purposes, every country needs more electricity. Especially the biggest countries like China, India, they would have more demand for coal. Besides that, post-COVID, now the economic situation is stabilizing everywhere. So even the industrial demand is significant, which is supporting the coal demands.
But the current price is around 130 and 140. That is the approximate range of coal prices in this world. Is it still profitable for business to operate as a coal miners?
Well, it is not really profitable compared to the cost hike. Especially, we need a lot of fuel. And fuel prices, everybody knows, are at the peak. So that is definitely impacting our operational cost. But we still need to survive by different means like improving our efficiency, cutting down the cost, upgrading our technology, enhancing productivity. We have to be very agile.
Very agile and very efficient on how to operate
survive,
your business. Yeah, because there's a trends of downside trends for this coal prices.
Correct.
Okay. We're gonna continue our discussion after this. Sekarang saya akan tanyakan terlebih dahulu ke rekan saya. Ada penurunan signifikan yang terjadi sejak 2022 dari komoditi boom saat itu, Mas Reza, kita ingat dari harganya di sekitar 400-an dolar Amerika Serikat, sekarang berada di kisaran 130-an, 140-an saja gitu ya. Apakah benar menurut pandangan redaksi CNBC Indonesia, batu bara sudah menuju atau bisa dikonsider sebagai sunset industry?
Ya, kalau kita perhatikan mungkin untuk dikatakan sebagai sunset itu tidak bisa kita mengacu terhadap pergerakan dari harganya. Namun kalau secara penggunaan dan transisi menuju renewable energy seperti yang sudah disebutkan oleh Pak Bharat, bahwa transisi menuju renewable energy tidak dapat dilakukan secepat itu. Dan kita memerlukan energi fosil masih untuk dapat menuju ke transisi ke energi baru terbarukan. Sehingga ini memerlukan waktu yang panjang dan kita sudah memproyeksikan ini akan terjadi hingga 2030 hingga nanti 2060. Sehingga tentu saja saat ini untuk dikatakan batu bara sebagai energi sunset sumber energi yang sunset, yang sudah mulai tidak digunakan, ditinggalkan, tentu saja ini masih tidak dapat dikatakan. Dan kalau kita bilang 137 itu harga yang rendah, kita tidak bisa bilang seperti itu. Karena kalau kita mengacu ke harga sebelum pandemi COVID-19, harga 137 itu masih terhitung sangat tinggi.
Harga sebelum pandemi COVID-19 itu di kisaran 80-an ya?
Ya, 80 dan ketika 120 adalah peaknya. Sehingga 137 ini merupakan peak.
Masih ada margin.
Kalau kita melihat dibandingkan sebelum 2020.
Oke, terima kasih banyak Reza. I will go back again to Bharat. Bharat, sir. So you see that coal, you also predict that coal will be stay here for quite a while because there's a transition to the new and renewable energy will take time, obviously.
Decades.
But how long? Yeah, decades. But how long is quite a while? How long is those decades?
See, it all depends on the government will, depend on country to country, their financial resources, because you see, this is a very expensive transition from, and even currently, if you consider or ask the experts, fossil fuel producing electricity is the cheapest. Our masarakat or our people cannot afford very expensive
the new and renewable energy.
So it has to be balanced considering the financial difficulties and limitations. So I don't know, I'm not an expert how long it will take, but for next 15-20 years, I think partially, I'm not saying 100%, but partially we still have to live with the fossil fuel generated electricity.
Okay, that's a great insight. So my friend Reza just told me that the level of 130 or 140-ish for the coal prices is still quite high compared to the levels back before the pandemic, which was back then in the 18-19. What do you think about it?
No, in my opinion, if you calculate the per unit cost with these prices, I think it's quite affordable for the power plants or any industrial user for generating power with thermal coal. It's quite affordable at this price.
It's quite affordable.
Yes, and therefore I don't see further decline in the prices in very near future.
Okay. What is your view on the new policy that the government has been regulated about the tax incentive for the devisa hasil ekspor? Do you see this policy as an advantage for the mining industry domestically?
I strongly welcome this policy.
Okay.
So basically the policy is about retaining our 30% foreign earnings in the domestic banks for 90 days, which I think is a very good policy in the national interest.
Do you think that has an impact for your financial performance in your business or in your institutions?
I don't think so, because it is just for the 90 days, and then you again get into the circulation. So, but what I see the advantage for the national economy, this basically create a lot of surplus liquidity for the local financial institutions, and this liquidity can be used for infrastructure, for other welfare projects, so government can have access liquidity. In fact, in my personal opinion, I would urge the government of Indonesia to implement the same policy even for other commodities, precious metals and other mining sectors. Because see, we have to understand one thing. All these natural resources are of the people and for the people. So I think whatever the policies comes, the people at large should benefit from the new policies.
Sure. Well,
so I strongly welcome this.
Thank you so much for that point of view, Bara. Saya kembali lagi ke Reza. Apakah Anda melihat bahwa batu bara dengan ya tentunya ini menjadi komoditas yang merajai ekspor dan impor ekspor di Indonesia, perdagangan Indonesia. Tapi dengan adanya new and renewable energy, apa sebenarnya yang menjadi challenge utama untuk benar-benar bisa berjalan bisnis batu bara seperti sedia kala? Apakah benar-benar transisi ke new energy ataukah sebenarnya lebih kepada climate change dengan adanya climate change yang semakin berubah, ataukah mau harga yang komoditas? Anda melihat bagaimana tantangan-tantangan untuk menjalankan industri batu bara sendiri di Indonesia?
Ya, kalau kita bicara renewable dan energi dan batu bara, tentu kita akan melihat terkait dengan bagaimana kondisi supply side dan juga investment. Karena kalau kita lihat, permasalahan saat ini adalah dari supply side, ke kondisi supply yang kekurangan yang disebabkan oleh investasi ke bidang energi fosil yang semakin ditekan, semakin dikurangi, dibatasi, pembiayaan yang semakin sulit. Tentu faktor-faktor inilah yang juga turut menyebabkan dari sisi supply harga batu bara itu mengalami permasalahan. Dan ini tidak hanya terjadi di Indonesia, namun ini juga meluas di pasar global dengan adanya berbagai perjanjian Paris. Ini yang membuat seluruh dunia berkomitmen untuk menuju renewable energy. Namun di sisi lain kita tidak dapat langsung untuk dapat berpindah dari awalnya menggunakan batu bara, kemudian kita langsung ujuk-ujuk menggunakan renewable energy. Karena kita tahu bahwa penggunaan dari renewable energy ini masih belum memiliki secara efisiensi cost-nya
dan masih
belum
begitu mahal untuk
tercapai,
masyarakat
masih
Indonesia.
mahal seperti yang sudah disebutkan juga bahwa tingkat kemahalan ini sehingga dapat menyebabkan permasalahan lainnya dengan dari sisi energi yang mahal ini dapat berdampak pada sektor lain dan tentu ini akan menyebabkan adanya inflasi. Tentu faktor inilah juga yang perlu diperhatikan bahwa transisi ini perlu dilakukan secara bertahap.